Per the usual, hitting that intro in a three, a two, a one.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jose here at the First Round By podcast, accompanied by my boy, Mr. Soss.
What is going on, one and all? Per the usual, welcome to yet another epic, monumental episode 65. Man, we are just trudging along, aren't we? Ooh, I have not said that word in a long time. Trudging along.
I've never even heard that word before, my boy.
Hey, it happens. It happens. So we are, per the usual, recording this later on in the evening. It's been a busy weekend. How's your weekend been? Good?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, pretty productive, but I'm away from work, so that's always a plus.
Ain't that the truth? I literally, it always cracks me up because you can definitely tell when we've had busy weekends whenever you guys are seeing us in this form, which has been like the third week in a row. So
Right. We haven't recorded in the same room in about a month, maybe a month and a
I
half.
know, man. We need to get back to. Actually, we can't even do it next weekend either. We
Oh,
got
that's right.
yeah, we got stuff going on. Big time stuff. But yeah, no, it's been a very healthy, productive week as of this recording. By the way, unless something crazy changes, we are still currently sitting at 99 subs on YouTube. I don't we don't have that button to hit the clapping noise.
Yeah.
So
Hey, but if you're a new viewer, please hit the subscribe button off to the side.
absolutely, please make sure. Also, make sure that you like this video. Comment down below. Anytime we get a lot of engagement on these videos and stuff, then that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you are listening on one of our many streaming services, then please make sure that you also hop on over to YouTube. If you haven't hopped on over to YouTube and checked us out yet, please do so because we're like I said, we're on the way to 100 subs. After we hit 100 subs, we got more goals in mind. We got some cool things coming up. We got some cool things planned. I know that the new NCAA game is coming out, and we are super pumped about that. So we're going to be doing some content on that. Plus, fantasy football is just around the corner.
I actually just reactivated our league
Oof!
yesterday.
I didn't get a
So
notification. What?
it's small steps, but we're getting
Let's
closer.
go.
The closer we get, we'll probably start doing fantasy football episodes. I'd say probably around maybe mid July, I would say would probably be a good time.
Yeah, I think so too. We haven't really talked about it yet, but I think that's probably a pretty solid time too.
But yeah, be on the lookout for those episodes. Super excited about fantasy football coming up. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it.
Absolutely. Get into it.
You know it.
All right. So, starting this episode off, we are going to be talking about the fact that it has been an insane last like week or two whenever it comes to extensions and contracts and everything. I actually talked about it in actually I think the last two videos that I did. We did a video over the Jalen Waddle extension, and then there was also a video over the holdouts for the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you have not checked those out, please go check those out. But the biggest topic of conversation going on right now is the fact that the wide receiver position, holy shit, it is paramount. If you don't have at least two starting wide receivers that are solid, then you're already behind in the NFL these days. It's a passing league. So what we're going to be starting off talking about is that insane. We just went through the draft class for what was it, 2021? You said
Yeah, 2021.
2021, and man, some big names were in that draft class. I remembered it being pretty solid, but whenever we started going through and looking at the names, I didn't realize how many like just superstars there are out there.
Yeah, seriously, especially out of that 2021 draft class. Just to name a handful, and I'm gonna kind of break down, not necessarily break down their contracts, but give you a little bit of details on their contracts. So,
That works for me.
Mr. St. Brown obviously just signed that 4-year contract extension worth 120 mil.
100%
Mr.
worth it.
Mr. Jalen Waddle just signed one 3-year extension, 84.75 mil.
100% worth it again.
And then we got Mr. Devontae Smith, 3 years, 75 mil. Uh, and in my opinion, this one was a little questionable, and I kind of want to talk a little bit
What,
about this one.
Devontae Smith?
No, not Devontae
Oh,
Smith.
the
This
one you're
next
about to
one.
name?
Yeah, Mr. Nico Collins signing a 3 year, 72.75 million
Okay.
contract.
Okay.
Before we go any further, let's kind of talk about that.
Yeah, no,
I
that,
didn't. I know he just signed this extension like within the past week or so.
right.
I know he's a good receiver for sure, but I feel like if in comparison to some of these other big names, uh, I mean, he's pretty much getting paid around the same as like Smith, and we have yet to see what Jamar Chase is going to get paid, but I don't feel like he should be up there. What do you think?
Okay, so I just pulled up some of his stats. Uh, I kind of look at him in a similar mold to, say, um, how I feel about the Jalen Waddle extension. So I'm sure you checked out that video because you told me that you checked out that video.
Yeah.
Don't you be lying on me. I'm just kidding. So whenever I was checking it out, I always like to look at their stats to see if it's based off of what their potential would be or what they've done already. And
Right.
his is 100% a potential thing because here's the thing: he's only been in the league for 3 years. This will be his fourth season. The first 2 years that he was playing, he only played. So his rookie season only played 14 games. His second season, so 2022, he only played in 10 games. Had literally 400 yards receiving in both those seasons. But then this last year, he had 80 receptions for 1,297 yards, so almost 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Well,
We've talked about it before, but I remember us talking about the fact that because originally, whenever Mike Evans was possibly going to get potentially picked up by, I think there was some speculation about the Texans, and I think I remember telling you, I'm like, well, they already got Nico Collins and they already got Tank Dell. They're already pretty stacked and everything. So I look at him as, man, he's like right on the cusp. I don't know if I would say that he is a wide receiver one. I would say he's definitely looked at as one of those high end wide receiver twos.
I guess the more I think about it, the more it's starting to, I guess, make sense to me. My thought process is Stephon Diggs, if I'm correct, he's able to test free agency after this year.
Correct.
So he's pretty much like a 1 year rental,
Which
and
is really good.
he's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe he's about 30 years old, give or take. So Nico Collins, he's got to be around 24 years old.
Right.
Uh, with the absence of Tank Dell, obviously he broke his leg or whatever. He stepped in big, made big plays, big catches. So they saw what he did in absence of Tank Dell, so they saw good potential, and he's like around the same age as Tank Dell, closer to him than he
Mm-hmm.
is to Stephon
Right.
Diggs. So they went ahead and extended him for the reasoning of them not being sure if Stephon Diggs is going to be there after this current year. And also, do
Right.
you really want to sign Stephon Diggs to a 3-4 year contract extension whenever he's getting older? So I mean, I
Right.
guess it makes sense to me.
Well, you also
I
got to
didn't
look at
really
the
think about it
quarterback
like
over
that.
there because
Right,
they got CJ Stroud on a rookie deal, and so
right,
because they got him on a rookie deal, they're able to spend a little bit. And Lord knows they're not going to be extending Tank Dell anytime soon.
right.
He's
Well,
got to
because he was
prove
a rookie as
himself.
well. Well, he was a rookie too last year, so
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, you
true.
can't get extended till what, year 3 or 4.
But even then,
So
he's got to produce.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna take back my words. I do like the signing. And it's not okay. So it's 72, close to 73 mil. That's less than Smith, Waddle, and Brown. If
because
they
that's
did
3
pay
years,
him,
right?
yeah, 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
So I would probably be scratching my head even more, or if they did sign him to like a Brown type of contract. So
Yeah, because that's only like what 23, 24 a year.
something like that. But even
Yeah,
then,
but
that's still quite a bit.
well, that's true, but also we'd have to look at the structure of the contract because a lot of these contracts, I don't know if you've noticed it. I'd noticed it recently just because on some of these deals I've just been like, oh my god, that is like these numbers are getting up to like quarterback type numbers.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
whenever I was looking at it, I was like, well, some of these deals are structured to where they're not even going to see the last year of that contract. and a lot of
Right.
those contracts they'll be like a 40 million hit for the last year, and you already know that they're probably going to either extend them out so that they can lower down that hit, or they're going to just um, trade or do something.
Right. And I'm very curious as to see how Mr. Jamar Chase contract is gonna pan out to be because I think he should probably be making around the same as St. Brown,
Yeah.
especially if you want to keep Joe Burrow happy.
Oh yeah. Well, I honestly think that I think that a lot of these guys. I read earlier today that CeeDee Lamb was waiting to see what the Justin Jefferson contract looks like.
Yeah, so many receiver contracts
Well,
going
see,
out because
man, and that's the worst part about it too, is just that everybody's trying to see because they just want to reset the whole landscape and just go bigger and bigger and bigger. But at what point do you say, man, like just no, you know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't make as much sense to me sometimes, but at the same time, I mean, it makes sense because these guys are just trying to they're young, they wanna get their bag, and I don't blame them one bit.
Well, not only that, but I mean, kind of what you always say is it's a passing league now. So,
Hmm.
the players know that receivers are gonna take full advantage of that, and they see their peers getting, these crazy contracts. So the
Oh
heck,
yeah,
why wouldn't you try to get one of those contracts? You
hundred
know what I mean?
percent.
So, especially if you're in a good situation, like all these guys that we've named off so far, St. Brown, Waddle, Smith, Collins, Jamar Chase, all these guys are in good positions. So they're gonna want to stick with those teams because they're in good positions. You know what
Oh
I mean? They're
yeah.
not like on the Cleveland Browns or on the Pats or something, some garbage team like that. That's they're somewhere there where they're content for sure.
Oh yeah, and like they're all on the up and up, and man, I like I said, I still think that it's insane just how much talent was in that draft class. Because yeah, like
Rashad Bateman.
yeah, Rashad Bateman. Who else did we see on there that was kind of Kadarius Toney was on there.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I can't really remember all the names, but there's some big names, and that produced a lot of big contracts. So, also let us know what you guys think. I personally, I cannot remember another wide receiver draft class that was nearly as good as this one was. So, would you say that the 2021 draft class for wide receivers is the best of all time?
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't want to answer that just because I don't have like a list of the
Oh,
other
come on,
draft classes.
give us a hot take. Come on.
A hot take? I can't, man. I don't want to be roasted in the comment section. I'd have to have like a breakdown of all the other classes and kind of just compare from there.
Yeah,
But
no.
at the same time, some of the older draft classes, they have more opportunity to be to kind of cement themselves a little bit better into
Hmm.
the league just because they've had more time. Because I know like I can't remember who came out of Mike Evans's class. Maybe OBJ, could be wrong, but a
We
class
know
like
how you feel
his.
about OBJ.
Right. But well, to be fair too, he does have a Super Bowl ring too. But that's what I'm saying. Their
Yeah.
longevity is gonna play a big part
Right,
of
right.
that go class or whatever.
I'm interested to see, especially considering the fact that everybody was talking about how great the wide receiver class for this season, well, this draft class was.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see.
it's going to be very, very, very interesting moving forward to see just how well everybody does. So
I mean, because if you think about it, and I think we spoke about this on one of the episodes too. At least I thought was it the 2020 2021 QB draft class? I thought that was going to be one of the
hmm.
best draft classes for the quarterbacks ever. The class with Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence and all those other guys. I thought that was going to be a phenomenal quarterback class, and turns out to be one of the worst.
Yeah, trash. Mac Jones, man. So how you feeling right now about Drake May?
I feel optimistic. I feel like I've read a lot that he's doing. Obviously, that he's improving day by day. His footwork's getting better. I've also heard a lot of good things about his arm talent. So I'm excited to see. A lot of people don't want him to start. They just want him to kind of like sit behind Brissett and kind of
That's
learn
not a
for
bad
a
idea.
bit and not necessarily throw him out into the fire. I'm for it, but at the same time, I'm not. It's like you
Mm,
picked him number one, you're gonna lose anyway. I mean, you know what I mean? Might as well
might
give
as
him
well
some
throw him
playing
out there and
time.
see
You
what
know
you
what I'm
got in him.
saying?
Yeah.
So
I was about to say, I feel like the days of quarterbacks sitting behind veterans and everything is that's going to the wayside now. You
well,
really don't see that except for maybe 2 years, if even
that's
that.
that's right. But at the same time too, it's like a lot of teams I feel like aren't drafting very talented quarterbacks whenever they have a solidified QB1, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So like there a lot of teams are waiting till like they're like dog shit till they draft a quarterback that's actually worth a damn. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and I
Like
think part of that has to do with the contracts that they dish out because at some point you got to figure out what you got and everything, and if you're already paying somebody like say trash quarterback like Daniel Jones,
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Because if you think about it, when's the last time that we had a situation where a rookie quarterback sat behind like a good veteran? If you think about it, it was probably like Jordan Love
Jordan
with
Love.
Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah,
and that's what been like what 5, 6 years ago or something.
yeah. But I mean, even before then, that's how Green Bay used to do it, man. Because Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre for a long time.
Yeah, that is true.
So speaking of Aaron Rodgers and rookie quarterbacks and stuff like that, so I'm not sure if anybody saw or anything. I think it's pretty big news, but I consume a lot of entertainment, so like TV and stuff like that. I know that Jose doesn't. He's not as big on it, but apparently, I guess obviously the Chicago Bears are going to be this year's Hard Knocks team. Jose, have you ever actually seen any of Hard Knocks?
I actually have not. It's on HBO, right?
Really?
Correct.
Wow. I mean, I know that you don't watch a whole lot of TV, but that is actually still surprising that you've never watched any of it.
I've actually never even seen any of those like
Did you
what was
watch
it called? Like
Quarterback?
quarterback. Yeah, I
So
didn't
you
watch
didn't watch
that
that?
either.
What? Man,
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I'm not gonna sit here and call you a fake football fan, but I'm just kidding. Rip
Ripperooskies.
Risky's indeed. No, I'm one of those weird guys. I love the behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I think it's interesting to see how players are like. It also helps me to like find new people, new players to root for or to root against. You know.
Yep.
So like if they're a shitty human being, then it's like, man, I'm definitely not going to catch any of those games. But if they're a good human being, then it makes me want to watch it even more. Now we all know that Aaron Rodgers, he's a powder keg. Like that dude, he is an interesting individual. But it's been really interesting. So I watched the first couple episodes because I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, man, I wanna catch up on because I hadn't watched it in a long time. I can't even remember what season I actually watched of it. But yeah, so because I thought about talking about it on the podcast, so I was like, you know what, screw it. We'll watch an episode or two, and I forgot how much I enjoy it. It's basically like being mic'd up, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
that's fun.
it's it's interesting because it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, stuff that I personally really enjoy. So like you get to see them like getting fitted for their equipment and stuff like that, and then you get a kind of a glimpse as to what the different like position rooms are. So like they'll go over film and stuff, and they'll bring in the Hard Knocks cast and everything so that they can pretty much just record every single bit of it and everything. It's very interesting, but part of the reason why I started watching is because usually during the season, what they do is they have a preseason one or an off-season one, and then they have an in-season one.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and
The end season.
I've only been watching the off-season. The in-season one that I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet was the Dolphins. They did a Hard Knocks on in season on the Dolphins, and I really want to watch that because I know that I was told that there was an episode where they were talking about that game against the Titans that everybody thought that they were just going to blow the Titans out, and the Titans ended up winning. So
Oh, you're a
spoiler.
Titans fan or what?
Yeah, sometimes.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You a Texas fan?
Nah.
Nah, I
Nah.
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 But yeah, so yeah, no, I do think it's cool that they do that, but I do think that it's very, very interesting that they are going to be going to the Bears camp because, man, I feel like Caleb Williams is just going to eat that up.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, it's literally the perfect opportunity for a show like that to go to the Bears. Like, honestly, the
Mm-hmm.
Bears have like the most hype right now. I mean, they got the number one pick in Caleb Williams. They got Roma Dunze. They got freaking Keenan Allen.
DJ
They got a
Moore,
whole they got a
yeah.
whole new squad up in there. You know, they literally had the most hype in NFL football right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're like preseason favorites to go to the playoffs already, and they literally
Right.
just had the first pick in the draft. I mean, it's not crazy to think that, but I do think it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be following it, and I might I might record a video or two based off of that because I think it's a lot of fun to watch. But like I said, I love to consume that kind of entertainment. It's hilarious because it's almost like the obsession people have with like reality TV and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, I love seeing the behind the scenes because I never obviously I never got that far. So
Right.
I think it's going to be very, very interesting. If you guys agree, let me know. I would love to have a person to watch with since I'm sure Jose's probably not going to watch with me.
I
We
don't have what do you call it? I don't have
HBO Max.
HBO. So yeah,
You can
that's
use my login.
Rip Brewskis. I might just
Actually,
do that
we
then.
won't talk about that on on the internet.
Okay.
All right, so um, I thought I was gonna have a better segue for this, but I don't really have a better segue for this. I'm usually pretty good at the segues, aren't I?
A little bit.
Sometimes. So, actually, I guess it is kind of breaking news. So, I might even add a little breaking news thing. Anyway, CJ Stroud, one of the top young quarterbacks in the league. We all know that he just absolutely lit the league on fire last year. His rookie season was incredible, and we all know that there's a lot of times that quarterbacks will have that sophomore slump. But I guess he went on social media. It was probably a day or two ago. It was just posted about yesterday, I believe. No, today actually. Today, I saw it on Bleacher Report. So according to Bleacher Report, CJ Stroud actually somebody took a screenshot of CJ Stroud on Instagram, and he was talking about who his top 5 quarterbacks of last season were. And there was a lot of buzz about it because I guess uh, rounding out the top 5 was Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Interesting.
He actually
So,
he actually had a really good year last year for sure.
oh yeah, no, he definitely did. They choked.
Yeah.
They
What's
choked
new?
hard. So his number 1 was Pat Mahomes. His number 2, Lamar Jackson. His number 3, himself, which I thought that was interesting. Um, I like the that he is being realistic about it. Because most players they're gonna be like, "I'm the best. I had the best year last year," but instead he said, "You know what? I'm gonna say that I had the third best year."
Even then, that's still kind of like ballsy to say. I just looked at his stats. So he had 23 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, which is incredible,
That
and
is.
4,100 yards passing. That's the only immediate stat that I see right now. But it's not even just about those stats. It's also what you don't see on the stat sheet. The being the general on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
commanding your team.
Oh yeah.
How you play whenever you're down, things like that, dealing with adversity, getting into the playoffs, stuff like that. So I do think he definitely played as a top 5 quarterback last year. I'm not saying I
100%.
disagree. I don't say I disagree at him being number 3, but I do agree with him being at in the top 5, I should say.
Oh yeah. I So rounding out the top 5, so it was Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, then C.J. Stroud, then Josh Allen, then Dak Prescott. I would rank him. I'd probably rank him if we're talking like just stats wise and everything, probably fifth.
Hmm.
I would do Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and then CJ
CJ.
Stroud. Yeah,
Yeah. That's not a bad list, man. And
it's really
he's
not.
like being humble about it, but at the same time he's not. It's kind of
Right.
weird.
I like it. I like it because it still shows confidence in himself, but it's also still recognizing that these other players are great
Right.
and they're great at what they do. I mean, hell, uh, number one was a Super Bowl champion. Number two was the MVP winner,
Right. Yeah, you
and
can't
then
argue
and
that.
then number three was himself, who was he was Rookie of the Year, wasn't
Yeah, wouldn't he?
he? Isn't it?
Isn't it?
But yeah, no, I do think that that's awesome. And if you look at it too from from a different perspective, all those guys are really young. So the
It's a new age.
the scope of the NFL is so because just think about it, just like what 5-6 years ago it would have been Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, uh, Drew
Drew Brees.
Brees, Philip
Yeah, bro,
Rivers.
that's literally like the quarterbacks that I grew up watching, you know.
Oh yeah,
When I think of elite quarterbacks, those quarterbacks that you just named off is literally what I grew up like idolizing and you know, I personally couldn't wait for the
Brady Manning.
Manning
Oh dude,
Brady Manning, dude. Those games
greatest
are
rivalry of all time.
always yes, dude. Those games are always freaking awesome, dude.
They always came
Uh,
down to the wire because the man just they in my opinion, my personal opinion, the two goats of the NFL are Peyton Manning and
yeah,
Tom Brady.
Peyton
Uh,
Manning was nasty.
Tom Brady in the postseason, Peyton Manning in the regular season. There was no other quarterback that anybody feared more than Peyton Manning in the regular season. That dude
Yeah.
was just an absolute monster, except for his rookie year. His rookie year, he sucked ass.
Then he hasn't like the record for most interceptions,
He
does he?
did. He had like
Was it
18 or
27?
19. Wait,
Was it? I
what?
thought it was like keep
We
it busy,
both.
keep it busy.
I was about to say we both grabbed our phones. Uh oh. So after you find that, I have an interesting little stat for you that I thought was absolutely nuts because
28 interceptions.
28.
I said 27.
Jesus, that dude was man.
Yeah, so never
And then he
judge a
ended up
rookie
being one of the
quarterback.
greatest.
You never judge a rookie quarterback off of year one. So who did garbage last year as a rookie quarterback? Anybody? Will Levis?
What? He did
I'm
not
just
do.
fucking with
I was
you.
about to say he did not do garbage. If anything, it was the number one pick in the draft.
Who was that?
Bryce Young.
Oh, that's right.
Dude
Bryce
was
Young's gonna
straight garbage. He can't even
my
see
guy's
over his O line.
my guy's finna have a fucking Hall of Fame freaking career.
We will see. So, do you remember? This is kind of just like an off topic kind of thing, since we're talking about quarterbacks. So, do you remember Jake Plummer? Played
That sounds
for
like
He played for the Cardinals in the late '90s. He played from 1997 to 2006.
I've never heard of that name before.
The last 4 years he played in Denver.
Uh-huh.
So everybody called him Jake the Snake Plumber, right?
Okay.
I remembered him being not a great quarterback, kind of like Jay Cutler. I remembered him not being a great quarterback, but also not being a bad quarterback, right?
Like
Well,
Andy Dalton.
yeah, kind of like a middle of the road kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, I was dead wrong. In all seasons except for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He had a 10-year career. And in half of those seasons, he threw 20 or more interceptions.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
His rookie year wasn't terrible. He had 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. His second year, 98, 17 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. His third year in the league, 9 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. This dude, and he still stayed as the starting quarterback.
How did not get benched? You know,
Right?
and that's
That's
you
such
know
a
what's funny? If I remember correctly, I think Jameis Winston, there was one year where he led the league in interceptions, but he also led the league in passing
touchdowns.
yards or touchdowns. Was
One
it
of the two.
touchdowns?
Uh,
Uh,
it was passing yards, I think, because I think that he had close to 5,000.
I think it was a year right before Brady went to Tampa.
It's so bad, but yeah, he Like Jake Plummer literally in most of his seasons threw at least 20 interceptions.
That's crazy.
And on his career, he was 500 with his TD to interception ratio. He had 161 touchdowns, 161 interceptions.
What?
I'm not even kidding, dude. That was absolutely nuts. I was on the message board a few weeks ago and stuff, and that's what they were talking about was almost kind of like the Mandela effect whenever it comes to like players
Yeah.
that you were like, man, this player was so good, and then you go look at their stats and you're like, oh, they were actually trash.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I saw that. I was like, how did this dude like in this day and age? That would not fly at all.
Oh, 100%. After 1 year, dude would have been benched. Or
it,
maybe
it's
two
so bad.
years.
It's so bad. So I thought that was an interesting little statistic.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't remember that guy. I didn't really start heavily watching football like I do now until like 2008.
Yeah, so I actually, yeah, 'cause it was late 90s. 'Cause I'm really showing my age, but late 90s was whenever I started watching. Yeah,
Like heavily?
yeah, bro, you got to remember. So I started watching football whenever I was probably like 7 or 8.
Well, I did too, but like not heavily.
No,
Like
I
fucking
was
eyes
literally,
glued.
yeah, no, every single Sunday I was constant. And way back then, that was whenever the newspapers were still relevant. And every
Oh yeah.
Sunday in the newspaper, they would have what channel the games were on, what the odds were, and they'd have score predictions.
Yeah.
And I remember always watching it and thinking, like, oh my gosh, this team is losing, and they were predicted to win. And of
Right.
course, whenever I was a kid, I would also look at their records and I'd see, oh my gosh, this 2-8 team ended up beating this like 9-3 team or something like that, and just think
Yeah.
that it was the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, my heyday was whenever I was like late 90s, whenever I was a little kid. Obviously, now that I know a lot more about it and everything, it makes me appreciate it. But it also is kind of weird because sometimes I'll think about some of these players that I haven't thought about in forever, and their name will pop up, and I'm like, I wonder how good they did, and I'll go look it up. And I'm like, oh god, they were actually really bad.
Yeah. I understand that for sure.
That's crazy. All right, so that was all I had on my list. Did you have anything else? Because I think that you said that you did.
No, I think that's pretty much all I had, honestly. I'll probably do, hopefully, fingers crossed, depends how work is this week, but I'll probably do like an episode, maybe two, depends on the topics throughout the week, because solo episodes, or if not, maybe you can hop on. But so just be on the lookout for that. I don't have a time
Absolutely,
frame, but I might do a college football gameplay review video or something. But
I like
just keep
that.
your eyes peeled. We'll keep your eyes peeled, and yeah,
So the other day, I was on the PlayStation Store and I ended up picking up last year's Madden for like 12 or 13 bucks.
yeah,
So I've been playing a little bit of it. As soon as I'm gonna get a capture card, and as soon as I do, I'm gonna start seeing about posting some like gameplay videos or something, throwing them on the channel and everything. Seeing how you guys like that. If you end up enjoying it, please make sure you drop a comment, like all that good stuff. Mind you, I haven't played a Madden in probably like 5 or 6 years, so I suck at it. And I don't say that ironically. I really do suck at it. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun to play those games. And whenever college football comes out, we're both going to be playing it, and
oh hell yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. So, keep your eyes good because, like I said, you won't want to miss out on any of these this content that's coming out because it's going to be a lot of fun. This summer, and then going into the next football season, it's gonna be crazy. But kind of like what he said, we love pumping out these videos, but definitely bear with us at times because we we do both work full-time jobs, so sometimes the content doesn't come out as frequently as we would like to, but we still love being able to put this out. So please make sure you hit that like button, hit that comment button, and well, comment down below. You can hit the comment button if you want to, but make sure you subscribe. If you do subscribe, if you like what we put out, please make sure you share it with your friends, your family, anybody that enjoys football content from a couple of average Joes. or
Oh,
average
we're
Joe
getting
say.
we're getting closer, fellas. 3 months away. 3 months away.
It's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. But anyway, with that being said, Jose, do you have anything else for our lovely listeners?
Yeah, so whenever the football season starts, we're gonna switch up our schedule. Obviously, with the games falling on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, we're gonna have to think of something else to do, just because we want to make sure we're bringing that out or putting out the freshest content available. So once we have a schedule, jot it down. We'll obviously let you guys know,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll keep you guys in the loop.
Absolutely, and more than likely going to be seeing, especially during the football season, a lot more of this style. So remote episodes because they're easier to do, especially during the football season. So, but yeah, no, keep your eyes out, keep your ears open, eyes peeled. I almost butchered that really bad. Check us out on all the streaming services. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out firstroundbuy.com. Get you some merch if you want to. With that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.